call this meeting of the Wendell Board of Commissioners to order. Welcome everybody that's here with us tonight. We have a special guest tonight, Miss Brianna McCrae. She's the reigning Little Miss Wendell. She won the Little Miss Wendell contest last year, and she's here with us tonight. She's in second grade at Carver Elementary, and today's her first day of school, so I'm sure she's had a great long day, but a good day. And she's going to lead us, along with Police Chief Bill Carter, in the Pledge of Allegiance.
To the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Thank you very much, young lady. Our invocation tonight from the Wendell Council of Churches is Minister Cynthia Smith, Pleasant Grove Baptist Church. Good evening. Thank you so much for being with us tonight.
Good evening, and thank you for having us. We really appreciate that.
Yes,
all right, but let us pray. Father, we thank you and we praise you. We bless your holy, precious, and wonderful name. We thank you, O God, because you are God and you are God all by yourself. We ask, oh God, in the name of Jesus, that you will have your way in this place on today, oh God. We thank you for each and every representative here. You told us, oh God, that we should pray for those in authority over us, those that are our leaders. And Father, with that, we ask, oh God, that you touch the mayor and each and every commissioner on this board in the name of Jesus. We say, have your way in this meeting on tonight. And God, we ask that those that will come up and have public comments or that would say what they would want to say, oh God, that they would do so in peace and in harmony and in accordance to the procedures that were set forth on tonight, God. We thank you, oh God, and if we had 10,000 tongues, we couldn't thank you and praise you enough. Oh God, help us, oh God, that we will walk together in love and in unity, oh God, that you will be glorified in all that we do and all that we say. We thank you in advance for what you're yet going to do in the town of Wendell and how you're going to raise up leaders that will be after your very will, oh God, after your very heart. Oh God, thank you. In Jesus' name we pray. Amen.
Are there any adjustments to the agenda? Have a motion to approve the agenda?
We need to make
Okay.
an adjustment to the agenda
I'm sorry, I didn't see you.
to add a discussion on the golf court.
Okay.
I'm still digging it up, but it's not going to be a number.
All right, let's make it 11A. So we're going to add at 11A, or a B rather, I'm sorry,
Discussion on golf court fee schedule.
a discussion of the golf cart fee schedule.
Motion to approve that agenda with those changes.
Okay, so a motion to approve the agenda with the change adding 11B. All in favor?
Aye.
Public comment. We have one person signed up for public comment tonight. Courtney Bass, you can come up here and, to the podium, please. Tell us your name and address.
Courtney Bass. I live at 1993 Big Falls Drive at Wendell Falls. All right. Good evening. My name is Courtney, and I'm the general manager of Grounds Cafe, located in the growing new Wendell Falls community. I'm here to speak to you all tonight about the brunch bill. As many of you know, it is currently prohibited to sell any form of alcohol before 12 p.m. on Sundays in Wendell. The brunch bill allows restaurants and retail establishments to sell and serve alcohol at 10 a.m. on Sundays. The bill was recently passed in North Carolina, making us one of 48 states to allow earlier alcohol sales on Sunday, local governments permitting. Many surrounding cities have already adopted the bill, including Raleigh. The passage of SB 155 is highly beneficial to the hospitality industry, especially to small local businesses such as Grounds Cafe, Wine and Beer 101, and any potential new businesses coming to the area. It would allow these restaurants to better meet the needs of their guests. Speaking from firsthand experience, customer demand and desire for more choices drives local business. Many of our customers at Grounds, especially newer customers, come in on Sunday mornings as we open at 10 a.m. completely unaware of the law prohibiting alcohol sales. This, in turn, causes local businesses to lose out on the opportunity to make money and grow. By allowing earlier alcohol sales, you ensure that customers are able to gather and spend time together in their own communities right here in Wendell. If Wendell adopted the brunch bill, it is likely that we, as a town, would become much more attractive to customers and small businesses alike. People would be able to sit down and enjoy a brunch time mimosa, celebrate purchasing a new home, and enjoy the company of their friends and family in their own town. It also opens up the opportunity for businesses such as breweries, distilleries, and bottle shops to move to Wendell, eventually bringing in great revenue and more attraction to our town as a whole. The prohibition of early Sunday alcohol sales is outdated and stops small businesses from potential financial progress. If anyone can come into the cafe and order a beer or wine before noon any other day of the week, what makes Sunday any different? All in all, adopting SB 155, also known as the brunch bill, would not only be a positive change for small local businesses, but also for the town of Wendell and its people. Thank you all for coming tonight, and I hope you all take into consideration the forward progress this change can bring. Thank you.
Thank you very much. Do I have a motion to approve the consent agenda?
Motion to approve.
Okay, all in favor?
Aye.
Item number 4 is a presentation by Mr. Darrell Blevins of the Wake County Eastern Regional Center. Thank you for being with us tonight, Mr. Blevins.
Thank you, Mayor. It's a pleasure to be here. Commissioners, thanks for having me. It's been a while since I hope we don't get all those graphics the whole time, but we'll deal with it.
You can use these arrows to progress your slides.
Okay. All right. It's been a while since I spoke to the board. I can't remember. Geez, it's been several years. So a lot has changed, and I really do appreciate the opportunity to come before you and talk to you a little bit about what's going on in the Eastern Regional Center and all of the great things that are happening just in the eastern part of the county. So again, my name is Darrell Blevins. I'm the director of the Eastern Regional Center, and it is indeed a pleasure to be here. So to give you just a little bit of history about the regional centers and sort of where they were birthed from. Back in 1996, the Wake County, prior to 1996, the Wake County Commissioners passed a resolution to have regional centers strategically located throughout the county. Wake County is about over 400 square miles, as many of you guys know. A lot of people, over 1 million people. And just trying to provide better access to citizens in need was just a great idea. So in 1996, we opened our first regional center, which is the Southern Regional Center in Fuquay Varina. And it was really based on some simple principles. And the principles was clear. It was like bringing services close to these citizens. Imagine what it was like for folks that needed services prior to, and because we opened the Eastern Regional Center in 2005, prior to 2005, having to get all the way to Raleigh without a bus, without transportation, and trying to get to a service. I mean, it was extremely difficult. So the other thing was, that was the other thing, trying to bridge the transportation gap. And the other thing that we wanted to do is we wanted to enhance cohesion of services through collaborations. So really and truly, the regional centers are really a network of care. So it's not just government services, it is what we deliver to families through partnerships. And we'll talk a little bit about some of those partnerships as I go through the presentation. So I talked about regional centers. So we have 3 regional centers, and there are full-fledged regional centers. One here in Zebulon, one in Fuquay Varina, and one in Wake Forest. Now we have opened a couple of what we call neighborhood-based centers. We call them human services centers. They're unique to all human services type programs. So we have one of those in Millbrook, and we have another one at the Crosby Garfield Center in Raleigh. So centers by the number. So by the numbers, we have about 80 folks assigned to the Eastern Regional Center. So we have about 80 staff there. And you can see SRC has 69, SRC has 75, Millbrook has 52. And what we do is we really just measure like foot traffic, how many people actually utilizing the center. So in the Eastern Regional Center, and I'll focus just on that, we have this is a snapshot of about a 6-month period. We have about 41,000 people that come into in the Eastern Regional Center in a 4-month, in a 6-month period. And that's just foot traffic. And I'll talk about some of the reasons people come into the regional center, and this is a duplicated number. We have an annual budget of about $850,000 to manage that center, which is a drop in the bucket when you really talk about the overall human services budget. The overall human services budget is about $200 million. And so it takes us about $850,000 a year to run this center. And basically, any service you can get in Raleigh, you can get in this center. There's a few exceptions, but we have what we call drop-ins, where folks come from Raleigh to deliver service in the regional center. Additionally, we have other departments in there. We have inspections, we have environment services, and public safety in the building as well. And so those other departments in the ERC make up about 15 of our FTEs, total FTEs. So talking a little bit about services, a really unique thing about regional centers, we have a centralized registration area in the regional center. So in other buildings inside Raleigh, you have to go to multiple locations to get multiple services. Or if you go in the building, there's multiple floors that you have to go to access a service. We have one central registration area where no matter what you come in for, you go to that central registration and they triage you to the appropriate place. And so our core programs in the regional centers, our economic services program, our clinical services program, we have child welfare, public health, revenue, pharmacy, and employment services. And I'll talk a little bit more in detail about those services as we go on. So in our economic services program, we have Medicaid, Work First, food assistance, energy assistance, child care subsidy, and housing. And I will tell you that probably out of all of these services, our energy program is probably one of the most highly utilized services. So we're going into what we call energy season right now. So there's funds that come from state and local government and federal dollars to help folks with energy assistance. So they can come in and get help with energy bills, rent assistance, and things like that. But you have to qualify based on certain criteria. The one thing that we don't help them with in our centers, we don't help with water bills, which is a big issue, I guess, as many of you guys know. Our water bills are extremely high out here, and we don't provide assistance for that. But I think folks are pretty witty. They'll pay their water bill, don't pay their electric bill, and come in and get help with their electric bill. So they get a little witty in trying to make ends meet. But that is one of our big services in our economic services program. Our clinical services, we have a small clinic, which is a very nice clinic, but fairly small. We do child health there. We do some family plan and prenatal services. We also do communicable disease prevention and treatment. We have a pharmacy, a lab. We do immunizations. Coming up, a real busy time of the year because kids are getting ready to go back to school, and so we get an influx of kids coming in for immunizations prior to school. And then we do some preconceptual health counseling as well in our clinical services. Then we have our child welfare services, and we have what we call blended teams. So we have a blended team of assessors, folks who go out and respond to calls about child abuse. We have in-home folks who work with families that's been identified as possible child abuse issues and help those families with parenting skills. We also have foster care, adoption. We do some foster home licensure and family services as well. I will tell you, in foster care, and I was just talking with the supervisor this afternoon, we have about 75 kids right now in the eastern part of the county that we've taken into care, just from the eastern part of the county. We have 12 licensed foster families in this area. So most of the kids, if we take a kid into care, they're not going to be staying in this community. And that's one of the things that we really try and do. So we try really hard to recruit foster parents from this area, because it's one thing to take a child from a parent, but when you take them from their schools, from their friends, from their network, it's even more traumatic for them. We had a young guy to come in today. He was actually from the eastern part of the county, but he was placed in Fayetteville, North Carolina. So we actually provide transportation. His mom don't have a vehicle, so the workers go down to Fayetteville and get him and bring him up here so he can see his mom. So one of the things that we desperately need in this area is really trying to increase the number of foster parents in the area. So we're working with a lot of our faith partners in trying to do that and trying to recruit more foster parents. Our public health services, we have maternal health, we have health promotions, WIC. Again, we do some STD, HIV outreach here. We do some high-risk nursing services, and also we do CC4C services, which is child care coordination services for mothers who just had babies and going in and helping those young mothers learn the developmental stages of the child and really helping them to be better parents. Employment services, probably one of the things I'm probably most proud of that we got going on now. So about 2 years ago, we went through a major renovation in our center, and we actually expanded our career center. And so we are a licensed level 2 career center, NC Works Career Center, and we're really trying to work with families to help move them towards self-sufficiency. And the way to do that is through employment, through education and employment. So we're doing a lot of pretty unique things around in our career center. We're currently having monthly hiring events, and since we started those about a year ago, we've had we've had companies like Lowe's come in and do mass hirings. We've had companies like GSK do some hirings, US Food do hirings, and so we're working really closely with those businesses to try and help our families get employment. So we're really proud of that and working really hard to connect families to employment opportunities. Because truly, that's the way to self-sufficiency. So other county services, we also have a revenue department. I'm sure some of you guys probably come up there and paid your taxes toward the end of the year. That's the one thing about small towns, and I'm from a small town in Alabama originally. You know, folks want tangible stuff, man. If they're gonna pay, they want a receipt, man. I mean, you could tell them to go online, they can pay their bills. That's just nothing like. They want to go into the regional center, they want to go to that cashier's area, they want to write their check, and they want a receipt, and they want to know your name. So no matter how much we offer online services, folks really appreciate the opportunity to be able to come into the center, and pay their taxes. I was talking to one of my colleagues in the back about, and Sherry's husband, we were talking about inspections and the team that's out here, and we were just talking briefly about, how much you appreciate the regional centers being here. And literally, he put it in context for me. He said, literally, when they brought on the Eastern Regional Center, it literally saved them a man-hour a day. Because what happened, they got 6 folks assigned. It used to take an hour to go back and forth to Raleigh to get out here, because they was in Raleigh, had to come out here. If you got 6 people, that's 6 hours. That's a man-hour a day. So being out here, it saved the county a ton of money and helped in terms of trying to get work done in this area. And that's pretty consistent across the board, not just in inspections. I would say probably about close to 90% of all of our total FTEs actually reside in the eastern part of the county. So, they really love what they're doing, but they're from here. They're our neighbors. They're our friends, and so they're our families. So most of the folks who are actually inside that work in the regional center are actually from the eastern part of the county. We also have veteran services that comes in. That's one of those services we don't offer every day, but they come in like twice a month to do services for veterans. You'll be amazed at the number of veterans in the eastern part of the county that really can benefit from that service, and they do. You can also come in and get vital records like birth certificates and things like that. You can come in and get that service as well. So a regional center is not a regional center without partnerships. The charge coming out was we have to develop strong community partnerships. Government can't do it all. We need partners. So we partner with a lot of good organizations. Right now in our behavioral health, our mental health and substance abuse area, Monarch is a private nonprofit that's actually housed in the regional center, and they do all of our behavioral health and substance abuse services in the center. So it's a great resource for this part of the county. I'm sure you guys have heard about the opioid epidemic. We're not immune, and so we're seeing a lot of families come in for that service. Our psych services, UNC, come out and do our psych services for those folks who may be suffering from severe and persistent mental illness. They do that on site. Also, in the southern part of the county, that's why that's up here, Advanced Community Health, they actually do primary care in one of our regional centers. And that's one of the models that we're sort of looking at in our regional center as a future planning issue for us. Really trying to provide better access to health care for our families and maybe doing it through one of the federal qualifying health care organizations. So we've been in conversation with Advanced Community Health for a number of years, really talking about how we can make it happen. And along with that, in terms of community partners, and I don't have it on the board, but our faith partners. I cannot say enough about our faith partners. Our faith partners is what really make this a network for us, because there's so many things that we don't do as a government. And so our faith partners step up and make those things happen. So we got great faith partnership. And whether it's food, whether it's clothing, whether it's education and training, whether it's responding to emergencies or whatever, our faith partners have done a really good job at helping us meet the needs of some of the families here in the East. So let me go back. I think I went back too far. So a really cool thing about regional centers as well is all of our regional centers have what we call community advisory committees. And these are advocates in the community. So here in the eastern part of the county, we have a 15-member advisory committee, and we meet once a month. They come in, they tell us about needs in the community, what should be some of the priorities, how can we implement different things, how can we make an impact in that area. They also serve as a forum for sharing information to increase collaborations and service linkages in the community. So they would go out and advocate for things. And they also talk with the Human Services Board, they talk with commissioners to talk about and advocate for needs. So one of the things that, as an example, we've been talking about transportation for a long time here in the East. And one of the things that we wanted to do, we wanted to make the ERC like a drop spot, because right now it's Compare Food, that's still 2-3 miles from the Eastern Regional Center. So one of our chair for our Community Advisory Committee wrote a letter to one of the commissioners and say, hey, look, we would love for the ERC to be a stop point for the bus. So that's something that we're working on, because we would love to have that bus to come to the center and pull out that way, because it can provide better transportation for our citizens to get there. Because even though we're in the East, there's still barriers to families trying to get to the Eastern Regional Center. So that committee is really important. It really helps us in terms of trying to strengthen our network of services in the East, and they've done a phenomenal job at doing that. So we've had several members of this board in the past that have served on that committee. Seth Bangs served on that committee. Dr. Parham served on that committee. So we've had a lot of support from this board in serving on that committee. So other partners, I talked about our faith partners. I mean, we love to partner with the towns. It's important that we partner with the towns. Before the regional centers came to the region, I mean, there was a lot of conversation with all of the towns in terms of what the needs are and what we should be focused on. So those are some of our partners right there. And that is it. So these are my co-partners, and my partners are Petra Hager, she's the director at the Millbrook Human Services Center. Ross Yeager's over in the north, and Richard Hayner's in the south. All right. Any questions?
Anybody have any questions for Mr. Blake?
Mr. Williams, what was the total number of current people needing foster care in White County?
There's 75. We have 75 kids in care right now, and we have 12 licensed foster homes in the eastern part of the county, in the eastern region. That's not countywide, it's just in the east, in the eastern part of the county. And we have 75 in care.
You said currently the Eastern Regional Center's not on the bus route?
No, sir.
Is that a good contact number for you?
Yes, sir. I think I got a card too. I'll give you a card too,
That'd be great.
Jason.
Are there any other questions? Thank you very much for being here with us tonight.
Okay, thank you, ma'am.
Item number 5 is a request by the Wendell Historical Society for a fee waiver for the use of the Wendell Community Center. Mr. Pulaski.
Good evening, Madam Mayor and Commissioners. The Historical Society has asked for a fee waiver to host a reverse raffle fundraiser at the Wendell Community Center on September the 24th. The actual event hours are from 6 p.m. to 9 p.m. with beginning setup at 3:30 and cleanup completed at 10:30. The Recreation Commission met during their June meeting and voted unanimously to suggest waiving that fee. They would still be responsible for the $250 cleanup fee, which cannot be waived. And also, due to the number of participants this year, it is increased up to 400. They would need one police officer on site, which would be $35 an hour for a total of $105. And Miss Mary Jo Cashin is here tonight to talk about this event a little bit and answer any questions that you guys might have.
Does anybody have any questions for Mr. Pulaski? Ms. Cashin?
Well, I'm happy to have this opportunity to talk to the board tonight. The Wendell Historical Society has been working to keep Wendell's history alive, at least since the late 1960s. Ray Hennett, who is here tonight, and his wife Carol have been the backbone of the Historical Society through those years. And over those years, the town of Wendell has supported the society in many ways, and I want to make you aware of some of those ways right now. From cleaning up storm damage around the Wendell Historic Post Office, to assisting in displaying the historic district banners, from providing a meeting place for the society, to helping sponsor the annual July 4th festivities. Earlier this month, our town manager, Teresa, and her assistant, Cherry, were very helpful in making sure the event ran smoothly. And our mayor, Jenna, a faithful board member, was MC for that event. We are grateful for the support of the town of Wendell. For several years now, the Society has been working to establish a Wendell Museum in downtown Wendell, hopefully somewhere close to the town square. The time is right. Indeed, many of us believe that if one is not made possible at this time or in this generation, one will never exist. With that in mind, last year, the Society sponsored its largest and most profitable fundraiser. Almost 400 people came together at the Wendell Community Center for dinner and a reverse raffle. The raffle made almost $15,000 toward the museum. Shortly after, the Wendell Chamber of Commerce surprised us with a gift of $2,200 for the project. As we prepared for last year's event, the community center had some tables and chairs, but not nearly enough. So we had volunteers moving tables and chairs and other equipment from several locations, kind enough to loan them. We worked very hard to keep the expenses low. We rented nothing. In that same vein, we requested and received from the town a waiver of fees for the use of the community center. We appreciate that additional savings. So that brings us to this year's September 21st event, for which we are again requesting a similar waiver of fees. We would appreciate your continuing support. And if any of you are interested, raffle tickets are going to be available starting next week, August 1st. And I can fill you in if any of you are interested. The cost is $100. That includes a meal for 2 people and the chance to win $10,000. That is the grand prize. Second prize is $500. Every 25th ticket drawn will receive $100. They will receive their money back. It's a lot of fun. We had great fun. A lot of people came out last year. We were overwhelmed with the number, and we hope we'll be overwhelmed again. Last year, we sold 250 tickets. This year, we're selling 266 tickets, which is the maximum number we can handle with our board and stuff. So you have one chance in 266 of winning $10,000. So if anyone would like a ticket, you can see me, or you can see Jenna, because I'm sure she'll be selling tickets.
I will.
Okay. Any questions I can answer?
Does anyone have any questions? Y'all can all just bring me your checks at the next board meeting, of y'all up here. And so I'll have some for you soon.
And I will mention that that is an alcohol-free event.
Yes. Okay, does anyone have any questions?
Madam Mayor, I make a motion to approve the fee waiver for the Wendell Historical Society for September the 21st.
So we have a motion to approve the fee waiver for the use of the building. Is there any discussion on the motion? Is that clear enough? Yes, ma'am. Okay. All in favor?
Aye.
All right, thank you. Item number 6 is review and action of the facade grant request for 36 North Pine Street. Mr. Bergmark, good evening.
Good evening. Thank you, Madam Mayor, members of the board. As stated, this is a request for you to review and take action if you're prepared to do so on a facade grant request. At the July 6th meeting, the Appearance Commission reviewed one downtown facade grant application, the one coming before you tonight. It was the only one submitted for this cycle. The Appearance Commission at this meeting moved to recommend to the Board of Commissioners by a vote of 6-0 approval of a downtown facade grant application for 36 North Pine Street in the amount of $1,000, noting that the application met the intent of the program. The application in this case was made by Paul White for the property he owns at this address, and the application was to add a metal roof covered front porch, as well as a roof covering over a patio to be used for barbecue demonstrations, and a new front door for the building at 36 North Pine Street. The proposed porch and roof line extension would extend about 16 feet out from the existing building facade. The property is currently being renovated to be occupied by our barbecue supply store known as Grill Billy's, and this is located on the edge of our manufacturing and industrial zoning district. The total estimated cost for the project is just over almost $13,000, and again, the amount being applied for is $1,000, which the facade grant allows a 50-50 match up to $1,000 for eligible projects. In addition to the funds that are being used that are eligible for facade grants, did want to note that there's also additional work being done with paving the parking lot and drive aisles, planting sod, and just kind of sprucing the property up. Staff has reviewed this application and deemed it to be complete. It has project costing indicated and all the details necessary, including a photo of the existing facade and a sketch of the improvements to be made. You have shown there, and then within your packet, a picture of the existing facade. And on the drawing, which is now a bird's eye view, you can essentially see where that ramp is and the door on the right side. They'll be adding attached to that ramp a new covered deck, and the roof line would extend to the left from that. Staff requested the board review this recommendation, and as it relates to the downtown facade grant program objectives and guidelines, and if prepared to do so, take action. I'd be happy to take any questions you may have.
Does anybody have any questions for Mr. Bergmark?
David, just to make sure I'm clear, they haven't started any work on this project yet, is that correct?
Correct. There has been some work inside the building, but nothing that relates to the facade grant request.
And the facade grant will be paid once the work is obviously completed, correct?
Correct.
And then I noticed in here it says that the estimate for the project is about $13,000, and then the application it says $40,000 to $50,000.
The cost estimates that was supplied to the town included some costs that weren't eligible facade grant costs,
Okay.
so we just pared it down to that about $13,000 in terms of costs that would be eligible for facade grant funds.
Okay, thank you.
Any other questions for Mr. Bergmark?
Madam Mayor, I make a motion to approve the facade grant request for 36 North Pine Street.
So a motion to approve the facade grant request for 36 North Pine Street. Is there any discussion on the motion? All in favor?
Aye.
Okay, thank you very much.
Thank you. Item number 7 is a discussion of proposed text amendment to Chapter 2, Section 322 of the Wendell Code of Ordinances as it relates to the Appearance Commission. Mr. Bergmark?
Thank you. So again, talking a little bit more about the Appearance Commission, this is one of numerous changes that we're not actually asking for action tonight, but we're just asking to review some changes to the Appearance Commission structure, and then asking if you would consider taking action at the August 14th meeting. This deals with Chapter 2, Division 6 of the Wendell Code of Ordinances, which kind of specifies the standards for the Appearance Commission. At the June 9th, 2014 meeting, the board voted to change the membership of the Appearance Commission from 5 members to 6 members. However, there was the quorum number was not changed within these regulations. So the quorum stayed at 3, when really, if you follow kind of standard Robert's Rules of Order, it should be 4 by that number. So it's generally recommended that 50% or more qualify as the quorum. So what we're doing tonight is asking that the Board of Commissioners consider changing the membership of the Appearance Commission for future years to be back to 5 members, but still add 2 alternates to still allow more participation. So this way the quorum could stay at the 3 members as it's currently written, but we could allow 1 additional citizen to participate as an alternate member. During the 2017 recruitment period, we actually received 9 applications for 4 open seats. So there definitely is a desire to serve on this board. And it's been a very active board, had a lot of accomplishments with public art and facade grants and the like. And so we're trying to keep up that momentum. So we're seeing this change, allowing us to keep that quorum, and while still allowing an additional member to serve, even if it's in an alternate capacity. I'd be happy to take any questions you may have.
Does anyone have any questions? Mr. Bergmark?
How did we happen upon this?
We've been doing some cleanup for different sections of the code, and so I don't know if it was Patrick or Sherry, but I think it just came up as we were going through it.
When you said the Appearance Committee is in favor of this, they're on board with this?
Yes, I should have mentioned that. I think I skipped over that, but they have been presented with this material and they are in favor of the change.
So next spring or next summer, when we elect the new members and they go on, are we going to be still bringing on? I believe 2 are going off, so 2 come on, or we're going to put 1 on and then just how would that?
So we'd fill ourselves. I can't remember who's going off the board for this one, but yeah, we'd come back up to the 7. So one of those new, because right now we're at 6, so one of the new members would be labeled as an alternate, and then one of those going off, we'd look to replace that position with an alternate position.
Okay, all right.
What it does, it's my observation, is it creates an opportunity for someone who maybe doesn't want to be there all the time, but has a unique skill that they bring to the group, and they can participate during those kinds of times,
Yeah.
That was my understanding, and that way it makes it more open for more folks to participate, which is always a good thing.
And I'm sure they'd welcome to still be present even if they aren't a voting member at a given
Right.
meeting.
It's a working board,
Mhm.
so they need some additional hands.
Mhm.
Okay, so if there's no question, I'll take action on this on August 24th at our meeting then. All right. Item number 8 is a discussion of a proposed text amendment to Chapter 16 relating to Parks and Recreation. Mr. Pulaski?
I'm back. So much like Mr. Bergmark going through the Parks and Recreation, Chapter 16 code, we come across some of the things that may have changed over the years because of a growing park. And a few of those I'm going to hit on tonight. And if there's something else that you have any questions about, I'll be more than happy to answer some of those. With the main one being that we were looking to change the hours of the park to read from, right now where it reads 8 a.m. to sunset, would be changing it dusk to dawn. Have contacted other recreation departments in the area. Most people are going to this dusk to dawn. 8 a.m. is, our seniors are walking at 7 in the morning. So, you know, that 8 a.m. really doesn't apply anymore, especially with the community center. This was adopted in 1977. So, you know, like Matt Driver's getting to the park at 7 in the morning. So that was one of the main changes, was changing that. And this kind of came across by doing signage in the park. We're redoing some of the rules and regulations of the park that are out and about, and we're just really wanting to change those times to a generic dusk to dawn. That way, time's changing at the park with the seasons. Also, one of the other major ones that was up here that we looked at adding in was on 1632 with regulation of animals. In there, it was talking about nothing being off leash, but now with the dog park area, we did change verbiage, except for in the dog park area for animals or for dogs to be off the leash. And that's changed in there in a few places where off-leash animals were listed. Also, another one that came up was on 1655. It did talk about no one being allowed to remove or or deface, alter like trees, bushes, flower beds, and we got to thinking about the tree board. You know, they're going in and checking diseased trees and taking them out. So that some verbiage was put in to give the tree board the ability to go in to properties and being able to do what they needed to do. And also the big one and the last one that I wanted to hit on, like I said, if there's any others you want to have questions about, please ask, but was weapons in the park. That one is a hot topic around with all recreation departments with concealed and carry. So that whole section had to be changed to meet the North Carolina General Statute for concealed. Basically, they are not allowed to have their weapon watching a baseball game, but they are allowed to have one if they're walking the nature trail. So the verbiage that we're putting in is basically what is reading from the North Carolina State General Statute. Our current one states, obviously, no concealed weapons in the park. So we have to bring that up to current standards. But those are the main four that kind of focus in. There's some about driving livestock through the park that's really doesn't make much sense anymore. Hitching your horse up to a hitching post outside the community center. Stuff like that is just kind of being cleaned up and taken out.
Does anybody have any questions for Mr. Pulaski? All right. It's on our agenda for August 14th for action.
Thank you.
Thank you very much. Item number 9 is a discussion of proposed text amendment to Town of Wendell Code of Ordinances, Chapter 18, regarding solid waste management.
Good evening, Madam Mayor.
Thank you for being here tonight.
Members of the board. Thank you. Chapter 18 of the town's Code of Ordinance has been reviewed in its entirety and is refreshed to be reflective of the town's current solid waste management practices and policies. Most notably, the proposed text amendment includes an update to the bulky waste collections in which citizens may either contact a private hauler or take items to an approved disposal facility. The town of Wendell can discontinue its solid waste collection services on January 2016. That is the most significant change. On page, you actually have as a part of your handout, current and proposed text amendments. On page 17 of the overview, we did add some clarity to a section regarding volume of yard waste to be collected. We gave some calculations, some physical ideal of traditionally it's been a 4 cubic yard. It was increased to an 8 cubic yard, which is about what you can get in the back of 2 pickup trucks. We added that for clarity. And I'll take any questions the members may have.
Does anybody have any questions for Mr. Bryant? Okay, we'll get it on the agenda for August 14th.
Thank you.
Thank you very much. Item number 10 is discussion of the text amendment to the town's code of ordinances to allow the sale of alcoholic beverages before noon on Sundays at licensed premises. Ms. Piner.
Yes, Madam Mayor, members of the board, on June 28th, the General Assembly passed the brunch bill, as was stated earlier during public comment, and that was on the 28th, and then Governor Cooper signed the bill into law on the 30th. It enables a municipality or a county to adopt an ordinance to allow the sale of alcoholic beverages before noon on Sundays at licensed premises. As was stated, there are several municipalities in the area that have made the change. That is Apex, Carrboro, Chapel Hill, Holly Springs, and Raleigh. Also under consideration is Morrisville for tomorrow evening. And Wake County and RDU, they will have their second reading on August the 7th. As stated, the state of North Carolina become the 48th state that would allow the sale of alcohol on premises prior to noon. Also, many, when they're speaking of this, and we think about, because it says brunch, we're thinking about going out to eat. But this would also allow for those establishments, as your grocery stores and others that sell and that are licensed to sell alcohol may do it as well. So it's not just restaurants that we have. This has been a bill that has been favored upon by most communities because of the impact it does have on the retail establishments as well as the restaurants. We do have it at this time scheduled for a vote on August the 14th. I'll be glad to take any questions that you have.
Does anyone have any questions for Ms. Piner? All right. Item 11A is the discussion by the town board and update of snapshot. Commissioner Boyette was going to discuss this tonight, but he's unable to be here. You may not realize Commissioner Boyette's a fireman, and he was not able to find someone to work for him tonight. It fell through at the last moment, so he's unable to be here. So essentially what the town staff needs to know as far as updating the snapshot is what we would like to have on it. For me, and I have already submitted this, I'd like to include the fee and lieu sidewalk projects that get approved by the board, because I feel like that's an ongoing thing, and I would like to know the status of those, what's happening. We do have a 6-month time frame in some instances where either the town has to take care of it or others, and I would like to know where it stands, the status of that, and stay on point on those. Do you all have anything else that you'd like to add in addition to that?
Maybe you had it on here, but the part of the project was the ones I'd like to kind of update on what's happening and things to look for. And I know I get asked about that a lot too as well. That it happened and then it's kind of been quiet, so I want to know.
I made a note on that on my own actually, and then I wondered if it was too much to put on the snapshot. What is your opinion about that? Because I was uncertain.
It's going to be a fairly short project. It's been a while getting it up and going.
So it'll come on and go off fast.
This should
Let's
be
put it on there then. I didn't want it to
within a few
become,
months.
because I would like to know in a bit of detail where we stand with the part of, right down to if we're grading, are we paving, are we adding in the game things, are we doing, I really want to know what's happening because people have been asking me as well. So I didn't know if, in my mind if that was too much to put on this, but if you think it's okay, then let's do it.
I think it is.
Because I wrote a note, here it is, I was even going to ask for it in the Friday memo if it couldn't be on this.
Okay.
Okay, so, thank you, that's a good idea. Anything else that any of y'all would like to add to the? Okay, well, we'll add those two things for the time being, and if anyone thinks of anything else, we can always, it's a working document, we can add to it. So that was 11A. 11B is going to be the discussion of the golf cart fee schedule. Well, we don't need to, we don't need to vote on that. I see I have a circle on the thing, never mind. We don't need to vote on that.
The direction.
This direction is the action that you want, okay. All right, so the 11B is now going to be a discussion of the golf cart fee schedule. Let's see where I put that. Yeah. Commissioner Joyner, you start.
So I sent an email earlier today that I'm happy to provide to anyone that didn't get a copy of it, but the basis of it is, last year about this time, we implemented our golf cart program, and I believe unintentionally didn't set our fee schedule to match the amount of time someone would have the golf cart. So what we've run into is a couple people who have applied, gone through the process, and gotten a golf cart in the past couple months, who are now coming up on this July 30th, August 1 date. So they just paid $100 last month. They're now going to be required to pay another $100 next month in order to keep using the golf cart. Because part of the ordinance says shall, we just need to amend that ordinance at our next meeting to allow for staff to prorate that ordinance moving forward. I've spoken with staff, and I think they've got a plan on how to make that work. So just bringing it up now, so we'll be prepared to take action on it at our next meeting. Hopefully we can work something out in the interim if someone's, obviously it's the 24th now, so a lot of these people are going to come due before our next meeting. Do we have the ability to use our discretion in the interim? Or do we need to?
It's an ordinance, shall, with it having shall, it doesn't leave us much room there.
All right. Madam Mayor, for a motion.
Well, then let's just change it right now.
All right. Madam Mayor, for a motion.
Yeah.
A motion to suspend the normal rules so we can address this ordinance.
All right, so we have a motion to suspend the rules and adjust the ordinance tonight. All in favor?
Hold on a second, sorry, Commissioner Jordan, just to suspend the rules, you mean suspend the?
Because this is not our normal way of doing business. Normally we would.
This is more of a work session meeting, our.
Right, so you're just saying just hold on anything right now until we can talk about this next time?
No, my motion is to suspend the rules tonight so we can deal with this issue tonight, because we won't meet again until after July 1.
Okay, I'm following.
Or until after August 1.
Okay.
That's just our typical way of doing business. I mean, I believe we adopted our ordinance in a work session meeting once.
Okay.
So, I mean, it's not unheard of.
You were speaking suspending rules for the golf cart thing, you're more just from our meeting now.
We're suspending the rules for this meeting, and don't actually probably need to do that, but it's more of a, let's all vote on whether or not we want to do it tonight.
Yes. Okay.
So there's a motion to suspend the rules and end the ordinance tonight. All in favor?
All right.
All right. So, are you prepared to make a motion on what the new ordinance, do you have that information?
The manager ponder, is there a particular phrasing for that you'd prefer?
Well, I think that we would treat it, I don't know the exact language, I have to put this together, but treat it as we have in the past with a business license, that if after January 1, then it'd be prorated from January 1 and to June.
So, Madam Mayor, I'm going to make a motion to amend Section 24-155, where it discusses the cost for registration. It says registration fees shall not be prorated. We'll strike the word not, and say registration fees shall be prorated, and then add the words at the discretion of the staff. So adding after prorated.
I don't see that on there.
It's going to be the second page of this right there.
Okay.
So it currently reads, all renewals shall occur within the same month and the same calendar year. The reason we did that was to allow the police department to inspect them all at one time, not have to do it all throughout the year. We unintentionally, or maybe intentionally at the time, said registration fees shall not be prorated. What we want to do now is say that they shall be prorated. Obviously, the staff needs to come up with what works best for them, so I think adding at the discretion of the staff allows them to determine if they want to do that by calendar year, by quarter, by month. There's a lot of different ways.
At the discretion of the staff sounds to me like you prorate it for some and not others. I'd rather, for me, I would like it to say,
Shall be prorated. So I think what we're trying to get is shall be prorated.
In a manner that the staff determines is, in a manner that's determined by staff.
I think we could either, prorate it after January 1 of each year, but I don't think that's gonna take care of the situation that you have right now, because now it's due again, and it's not after January. So shall be prorated, I'm trying to say on a per month basis. I don't know.
I don't understand why, if it's the first time that you get your golf cart, that we can't determine in a year's time what $100 divided by 12 is, and that gives us the monthly fee, and that's how much it is, and if it's the second day of the month, you pay for that whole month. If it's I think we're just way complicating this. Instead of pulling it to January and all this stuff, it's just,
I agree, I think just a monthly.
I think it's very simple to do it by the month, and
I'm happy with doing it by the month. I think just to, and I threw this on staff this afternoon, but
Right.
to try to defend staff, they were attempting to line it up with the way we used to do business license,
Right.
which was after January, it's prorated. So that was the goal there, but if it's more clear, we can say monthly, and staff certainly has the ability to do it that way.
okay,
Shall be prorated monthly.
monthly. That way, no matter what month of the year you bought your golf cart, the very first time that you bought it, you're paying the same amount per month everybody else is paying. Annually or whatever, it's the same.
And just for clarification, so if you go on August the 1st or August the 30th, are we paying for that? Just be clear if we're laying it out there.
I think probably if you're in that month, you pay for that month.
Okay.
Come on, yeah, don't buy it, wait 2 days.
That's fine, just
Let it
making
sit in your
sure.
driveway 2 days, and then call them. I just don't want, I feel like we're overcomplicating this. This is supposed to be, this should be it's too easy. Okay, so
Make a motion to amend this section to strike the word not and add the word monthly after prorated.
okay, so there's a motion to amend the ordinance to strike the word not and add monthly to the end, so it says registration fees shall be prorated monthly. Is there any discussion on the motion? All in favor?
Aye.
Aye. Item number 12 is update on board committees by town board members. The first one's Technical Review Committee, Commissioner Carroll.
On July 13th, TRC met for Wendell Falls preliminary plan for roads and utilities. 18 parcels is what they're trying to break down, and it's mainly designed for grocery, retail, restaurants, dense residential, townhouses and apartments type project. And it was approved based off of just the roads and utilities portion was approved based off the preliminary plan.
Thank you. The Eastern Wake Senior Center Auxiliary Meeting, Commissioner Myrick.
Hi, Madam Mayor, I met with Ms. Tanya Barrett this morning, and we do have a plan of action for the new doors that we had budgeted back in January for the East Wake Senior Center.
parts have been ordered. There's about a 2-week lead time, so I think town staff is working on getting that scheduled. Also, they did want to relay their thanks to the town for the support of their recent fish fry. They raised over $2,500, and that money will be used towards senior activities throughout the year.
Okay, thank you. Item number 13 is Commissioners' Reports. Start with the end with Commissioner Joyner.
Madam Mayor, I had the opportunity to attend a conference in Denver last week. It's American City County Exchange, where elected municipal and county leaders from across the country come together to work on different ideas. I was able to attend a couple different work sessions during that time, and it was enlightening to hear how other communities do it. I think to my right was the councilwoman from Austin, Texas, who has a considerably larger both constituency and salary than we do, but it's interesting to see that sometimes they face the exact same challenges that we do. And to my left was a gentleman from Florida that was the mayor there, where they have completely different rules governing how they operate, and it's good to get that sort of feedback. I had a good exchange with Ms. Scoggins earlier about how they do things versus how we do things. I'm going to take just a few minutes. As I was sorting through getting home and putting things away and filing, what my wife will call the disarray on my desk. I know where everything is. I don't know what her problem is. But looking through that, I found some old newspaper articles. Last year, during our budget process, there was 4 printed news stories and 5 total stories on our budget. First one was titled something about town board gets sticker shock. Second one was town board puts on the brakes. Third one was something to the effect of mayor's office comes into question after that lovely meeting. And the final one was where we reached a consensus and we used 2 different ways to balance the budget, and the budget was balanced. Now, I know that because I was sitting in the meetings, and they were long meetings and there were a lot of them. I know that 3 of those meetings, with the exception of the staff and the press, there wasn't really anybody else there. Which leads me to that. I picked up 5 newspaper clippings from last year, which may prove my wife's point on the state of my desk, but it proves my point this year. There's one article produced online that if you didn't go there and read it, you wouldn't have known about it. There was no discussion about our priorities. There's no discussion about where we were going with things. The News and Observer decided years ago that it was this business model to come in and acquire small newspapers and then create community newspapers. We are still bound to pay the News and Observer a notice for legal notices. It's a rather expensive process for us every year. Yet that legal notice doesn't arrive in Ms. Stewart's driveway anymore. It doesn't arrive in any of our driveways anymore. So I'm now paying, or we are now paying, out of our tax dollars, to advertise almost purely online for these notices that we don't receive unless we go get it. You could just as easily type in Town of Wendell as you could News and Observer and go get the notice. So I will formally ask Mr. Drescher and the News and Observer that if you're going to charge the town the fees and you're going to continue to fight in the General Assembly to make us pay the fees, that you provide the service. Since they've decided to move away from community newspapers, there hasn't been anybody sitting here. Now, obviously, Johnny's in Roxborough now, but we should not have to call the newspaper. You know, Johnny had hard questions for us some nights, and Johnny didn't write the stories we liked. We wanted to talk about how we were giving employees a raise last year, not the fact that we had a little spat about a mayor's office that wasn't actually a spat. But he covered it. He was covering it on all angles, and the press was holding us accountable. I hear a whole lot of conversation about fake news, and the only thing worse than fake news is no news. If the citizens can't be provided the service, then stop making us, as the board, pay the freight.
Commissioner Myrick?
I agree. I never thought I'd say this, but I actually miss Johnny. So, also, I had a conversation with Ms. Regina Harmon, who's the new president of the Wendell Chamber of Commerce yesterday. And they still have spots open for sponsorship for the Harvest Day Festival. So individuals can sponsor, business can sponsor. So if that's something people in the community are interested in, please contact Ms. Regina.
All right, thank you. Commissioner Lutz?
Thank you. I apologize for my absence last time. We had a family vacation planned, and I don't plan them, so it happened to be on the wrong Monday. I did have a chance this past week to attend a outing at the Mudcats game with some local Wake County representatives, and it was good to speak to a few of those. And kind of like Commissioner Joyner said, with meeting people who are in Florida and Texas that have the same discussion, same problems, just in different scales. I also yesterday went down to see the Wendell. It's 7-8, right?
It was 7-8.
7-8 girls.
8U.
8U, I guess is the better term. 8U girls softball team play for Wendell, and they played down in Smithfield, and it was a fantastic game. And I was really proud of the way the girls played and the way the class they handled themselves on the field. Definitely outclassed the other team. And they unfortunately lost in extra innings. It was a great game, but very proud of all the girls and a bright spot for the town.
Thank you.
I also, sorry.
That's okay.
Jumped the gun.
That's all right.
I also had the opportunity to attend the mayor's outing at the Mudcat Stadium and hear how other towns are facing the same issues and talk with them about how things were going. It was good, clean fun. Tommy Scoggins and I were being the umpires from the top floor, and it was just good fun. So if you have the opportunity next year, make sure you make it. And that's it.
All right, thank you. Last Friday night, I went to the mayor's summer outing as well. It was nice. I get to spend some time with these mayors once a month, and it was nice to get to see some of their staff and some of their folks and have some of our folks there to get to interact with them as well, and it was a fun evening. I also attended last week the Wendell Pedestrian Plan final meeting. It's soon, before long, was going to be brought to the planning board and then the town board. It's essentially a supplement for the transportation plan and identifies areas around town where we need sidewalks, crosswalks, and things like that. And it's going to work hand in hand with that, but it also is doing a lot to identify some places that need some attention at this time, prior to any roads being built. So that's an exciting thing that's going to happen around here soon, hopefully. I went to Smithfield yesterday and I went last Thursday, and then I went again yesterday and watched the little girls play softball. And it was a fun night. I saw the 8Us and the 10Us. The 10Us, I believe, finished 7th place, and the 8Us finished runner-up in the state. I'm real proud of all the young ladies. Particularly, like Commissioner Lutz said, the 8U, there was a bit of a scuffle, and some of the parents from the other team did not, my father used to call it, they did not do their part well, and we did our part well, and I was very proud of our young ladies and their families and our coaches and things like that. And I hope that those folks, when they get back home, or maybe do some self-reflection about their behavior and the example they were setting for a bunch of children at a children event. I want to remind everybody that the Wendell Rocks painting party is this Friday night, the Art of Giving. I don't know if you're aware of it or not, but this little movement has kind of come to town. It was spurned by the Appearance Commission, and folks are painting rocks that have Wendell Rocks on the back of it, #Wendell Rocks, and hiding them all around town. And they're painted like a variety of things, and they have little sayings on them, or they might be painted like the sun or various things, and it's turned into something really cute that a lot of little kids around town are enjoying very much. So, and it's kind of gotten legs. A lot of communities are doing it, and some of our local businesses have jumped in, and one of our citizens boards has jumped in, and it's fun, and it's making Wendell a fun place to live and be, and it's costing the taxpayers nothing. So that's always great. The next thing I want to remind you of is the Bluegrass Picnic Summer Concert Series. The next one is August 12th from 5 to 7 at the Town Square. Please, please, please go if you haven't been. Come and bring a chair and bring a picnic dinner, or just a little snack. It's just so fun, and it's a wholesome, fun night, and those gentlemen that are up there playing are real funny, and they really enjoy what they're doing, and I really encourage you to go if you haven't been. I've enjoyed them very much so far, and I'll definitely be there that night. So, that's it. Do I have a motion to adjourn?
Motion to adjourn.
All right, we're adjourned. Y'all know we never vote.